Well, the Japanese government has now come out and said Fukushima Daiichi is the nuclear disaster that happened there is a 7 on a scale of 1 to 7. I think maybe pretty soon they're going to have to take this to a scale of 1 to 10. I'm not sure where the scale came from and if it's linear or logarithmic or what it means, but let's check in with somebody who probably knows and what the consequences of this are. Our old friend Paul Gunter, the director of Reactor, the Reactor Oversight Project at Beyond Nuclear, beyondnuclear.org, the website. Their Twitter is at Beyond Nuclear. And Paul, welcome back to the program.
Thanks again, Tom.
Thanks for being with us. We got to get you in here by Skype one of these times.
I will get to it, I promise.
Okay.
I lost my camera.
Oh my. So in any case, Paul, what's the difference between a 5 and a 7? Who came up with this scale? What does it mean?
Well, it's the International Atomic Energy Agency that came up with it, but these guys are a promotional agency. They're as interested in building barriers to understanding as they are the radiation that this terrible industry has released on the planet. Again, this 7 has only one reference point right now, and that's Chernobyl. Now now we've got 2, but it's clear that you have an accident that's ongoing. So we've got rivers of radioactive water building up inside these plants because the cooling systems don't work, and they have to inject water in an effort to, they're going to simultaneously try to rebuild some of these pumps. But that river is, threatening to flood again into the Pacific Ocean. So it flushes these 4 reactor pools and 3 reactor
cores.
Buildings and cores are flushing out, and so this is a Chernobyl to the sea. Mm-hmm. And it is vastly different, as Chernobyl was different from 3 Mile Island.
Now, when I lived in Europe the year after Chernobyl, and the big problem, of course, was that the prevailing winds, which typically are east to west or west to east, rather, had kind of flipped around, and they picked up the Chernobyl radiation and took it first up over Scandinavia and then back down over the rest of Europe. I know it came over Germany because I lived there. And then kind of looped back around again and started going back east the way it's supposed to. And so this fairly wide area was contaminated. The Soviet Union at first kind of tried to cover it up. The Russian government now has been quite open about what's going on. Well, actually, it's the Ukrainian government that owns Chernobyl now, and they're pretty upfront about it. Although they're still arguably claiming that the number of deaths is radically lower than most people are estimating. But I'm curious. A large area was basically sterilized as a result of Chernobyl, and although they're doing tourism into there now, which it just blows my mind. But how much of Japan is going to be sterilized by this? And have the prevailing winds in Japan, have they had the good luck of having continuous westerly winds? At least keeping it off land. I realize it's a disaster for the ocean too, and I don't mean to minimize that. But have thoughts on this?
There is still a tremendous amount of radioactive inventory in that facility. I mean, what's not really been mentioned but once, I saw one Japanese account of this, but there is a common fuel pool to all 6 reactors that also lost power. And there is a tremendous amount of radioactive inventory in a pool that at one point was submerged by the tsunami. The building under 45 feet of water. I mean,
is this an in-ground pool?
It is an at-grade pool. But it is common to all. It's located between units 3 and 4 but it is a common pool in a building. There are about 2,000 fuel assemblies in there. I mean, I can't give you the weight on that just yet, but there's more nuclear waste there than in the fuel pools clearly at the other 6 units, and nobody's talking about it.
So there's actually 7
waste pool, or but number 7 is gigantic.
Wow.
It is, and again, it is the pre-staging for loading this thermally hot and extremely radioactive waste into dry cask, which I've not heard of. They didn't have that many. Most of the fuel, most of this nuclear waste is still in that common pool, but they'd loaded some small number of casks that were then to be shipped off for interim storage or reprocessing,
right,
to get the plutonium. But this, it is possible that if this thing continues to unravel and you get a site that becomes extremely more radioactive as they go, to 11, let's say, with these other reactors, then it's like dropping a match into a box of matches.
Right. By going to 11, what do you mean?
That there really is no recognizable limit to the devastation that this could.
Do you mean that the scale that they just took it to 7 could go to 11, or do you mean that there are 11 radiation sources here?
We have an accident that is still occurring.
We just don't know.
This is Chernobyl in slow motion,
right?
Which gives it a Fukushima. I mean, we're still, again, when we thought 3 Mile Island was the worst thing. Certainly I did in 1979 when I was fighting to prevent the construction and operation of Seabrook.
Right.
But then we got blown away by what Chernobyl offers, and now we're being Fukushima'd with something that is really not fully grasped yet in what it portends.
Yeah, and so we don't even know yet how much of the country of Japan, either in percentage or square miles, has been rendered somewhere between uninhabitable and just very dangerous.
There will clearly be, there is already a growing uninhabitable zone when the Japanese government finally acknowledged that they needed to go, farther out than the 20 kilometers. Now we're out to 30 kilometers for uninhabitable. It's very likely, Chernobyl, the evacuation, the Chernobyl exclusion zone is still growing, Tom. I mean, we're 25 years and that zone is still building. These things portend the devastation not only in terms of distance, but in terms of time as they grow and worsen and present just how inherently dangerous this technology is.
I've seen a slideshow of pictures of children born near Chernobyl that it's just, with flippers and no legs and deformed heads and faces and things. Is that a legitimate collection of photos, or is that just a collection of aberrant photos that was slapped together?
It's always to do a ballistics check on a neutron particle. But clearly, if you do the clinical reviews, you're going to see that any amount of radiation, even a tiny amount, gives you a tiny bit more risk, not less.
Sure. So
and the more you get, the more chronic it is. In fact, low-dose exposure can be more damaging to health than a quick flash, because if you damage a cell, that starts the cancer. If you kill it, it's over.
Right. Very interesting. Paul Gunter, beyondnuclear.org. You can read all about it, get all the information. Paul, thanks for dropping by today.
Thanks again.